later in the afternoon, but firstly we've got race 6 coming up, and let's have a look at an early tote update. I'm just giving Kenny Callender a few minutes off. He just needs a bit of a break. He's getting older and older. Well, the Schillaci Stakes, number 1, Poetic Kings at 15-2, $14 for Another Excuse, $7 for Paint out of the David Moody camp, 40s for Flavour, 5s for Lord Luskin. Paddington End is not with us. Armadale at the 12s, Catena at 5s, 14s for Regal Centre. Royal Discard is at 40s. Touch of Force is at 50-1 to be ridden by Vlad Jurek. Natois at $20. I think that's a little bit overs in my rules, my book. 33s for Checkmore. Elegant Lasses at 20s. Trader Vic at 7s from Sydney, and aren't they dominating the racing so far? Toledo at 20s, and Spy King number 17 is at 50-1. Scandinavia is not with us. And talking about horses that aren't with us, Arctic Scent is not racing anymore. Unfortunately, she bowed a tendon a couple of starts back. David Moody, the man at Hobson's Lodge, retired Arctic Scent. It was the winner of the 1996 Caulfield Cup, and earlier Anne-Marie Sparkman caught up with him.
David Mooney, owner of Paint and Schillaci Stakes. Now, if Paint's right, he should be just a class above the rest of these horses, shouldn't he?
Well, back on his old 2-year-old form and his early 3-year-old form, he should be right in the race, but he resumed after a long layoff and didn't perform for probably a combination of reasons. It's often the case that horses resuming after a long time out take a bit of time, and we had some problems with his back, and we've just backed off him and worked on him, and probably gone a fair bit lighter on him this time with a view to keeping him fresh. And
a little bit over the odds too, and we're just having a look at some colour pictures. The people have all rolled in here, Ken, at Caulfield. There's colour everywhere, people everywhere. It's a great build-up to the Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, and while we watch the build-up, let's take a break from Caulfield Racecourse on the wide world of sports. Well, we haven't got an official crowd figure yet, but looking at all those people, there was 36,000 here last year, and I reckon there might be a few more here today. The Caulfield Cup was first run in 1879, and no woman trainer has ever won the Caulfield Cup, but the horses don't know that, Gay Waterhouse, do they?
No, they certainly don't. And I've got two very good chances today, both double-figure odds.
And, well, Iron Horse finished third last year after running a place in the Epsom. This year he won the Epsom. Why don't we pick up the action from the Epsom and see the ability that Iron Horse has got. And Gay, he certainly didn't shirk his task here. Well ridden by Chris Muntz, and he's on him again today.
Yes, Ken, he was up on the speed all the way, and he found just that little bit extra, which he wins big races. His work here on Thursday morning on Caulfield was absolutely excellent. And I said to Chris just down the stairs, I said, you know, sometimes you get a real buzz in your body when you're watching a horse work. Doesn't happen all the time, but it certainly happened to me on Thursday.
Gay rose 4 kilos in the Epsom. He's risen 4 kilos in the Caulfield Cup to what he carried last year. Now, do you see that as a major problem?
Well, everyone likes their horse to be well weighted. Iron Horse is a horse that's performing well. He performed particularly well in Queensland. In the Doomben Cup, he was probably a good thing beaten. It just didn't handle the heavy going. He's won the Gosford Gold Cup over 2100, and then he came out and won the Epsom. He's certainly an improved horse, Simon, and he'll be very, very hard to beat in this race today. You've
got a jockey that's pretty excitable too, so he'll be looking for every gap he can take in Chris Muntz.
Well, he's riding well, Chris, and he's riding well in all states. He won the double in Queensland. He's won for me several Group 1 races, including the Metropolitan last year, and then, of course, the all-age stakes with all our mob. He's a good jockey, a very good jockey.
Gay also trains one of the roughies in the race, Magic of Sydney, and we've got tape of Magic of Sydney running second to Yippee-I-O in the Craven Plate. Now remember, Yippee-I-O was favourite for the Melbourne Cup till he went amiss last week. Now Magic of Sydney leads, Yippee-I-O goes up to him and beats him, but Magic of Sydney beats the others, Gay.
Ken, it's very interesting in the Craven Plate. It's a weight for age race, run over 2,000 metres at Randwick, and I instructed Larry Cassidy to lead on the horse. He became the shooting pigeon for the rest of the horses, and he made 3 runs in that race. It was a very good run. He hadn't run for a month. He's probably, you know, about 33-1 chance. He's got a good each-way, rough each-way chance.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of value at that price.
He is good value, Ken.
Gay, you've got the 2 runners. Which is the horse you're most scared of?
I suppose you've got to say Marble Halls. He's a 4-year-old. He's racing very well. I do think Bart's Catlin Opening's got a great chance in this race. It was a very good run in the Epsom, and he's a horse that's always thereabouts.
Now, Gay, you've broken a lot of barriers in your time as a trainer, as a high-profile lady trainer. Would it just put a bit of icing on the cake for you?
Oh, of course. I mean, you dream about winning this. It's like saying to one of the top swimmers or runners in Australia, how do you feel like winning a gold at the Olympics? Ask them. Or how do you feel like getting 100, you know, when you're a test cricketer? I mean, you know.
Very few of those go, I can assure you.
Well, that's what winning these races is all about. It's winning gold. It's really exciting.
Well, Jay, before you go away, we're going to ask you if you've got a runner anywhere that can win, perhaps Almazoon, yes, or a runner in Sydney.
Almazoon is my best chance today in the 8th race. She's the most consistent mare. She won a $50,000 race at Newcastle. She should win today.
Okay, from Sydney's leading trainer, I've got that right this time, from Sydney's leading horse trainer, Gay Waterhouse, let's go for a break on the wide world of sports. Okay, we're back at Caulfield. There's the horses milling behind the barrier for the running of race 6, the race before the Caulfield Cup, of course. And Darren Beedman rides Paint in this race. Paint in the lime green colours has been just a little disappointing since he was a 2-year-old. I wonder what Darren thinks are the right tactics to use on Paint today.
I'm riding a horse called Paint in this race in the lime green colours. He's drawn barrier 14. He's got exceptionally good speed, this horse. He'll be crossing the field quite early in the race. This horse has won 5 races out of 9 starts. It's run over 1,100 metres. His form last time in wasn't that crash hot. He had a few injury problems, but the trainer today is expecting a bold performance from this galloper, and I expect him to be right in the finish.
Yeah, so that's the tip from Darren Beedman. The race, of course, is called the Schillaci Stakes, named after one of the great sprinters of the Australian turf. Simon Marshall, how do all these great sprinters look?
Well, Kenny, they all look in sensational form. Of course, the sprinters all look a little bit more muscly than the stayers. Poetic King, well, he looks fantastic, although he's got a big weight to carry, hasn't he? Flavour looked very well. I'll tell you who looked exceptionally well was one down the bottom, number 12, No Tear. The one Jimmy Cassidy's riding looked very, very fit and forward. And it's on the ball too. Lord Luskin was another one. He's my pick for the race. He's very fit and lean. He's got great form at Caulfield. Just going by his look, Kenny, I'd like to be on him.
Okay, Simon, that's your tip, Lord Luskin. I know Simon O'Donnell likes Notoire. You haven't changed, mate?
No, I certainly haven't. I think he'll be up on the pace, and barrier 17 is not an enormous help for him. There's only one corner to come around here at Caulfield over the 1,100 metres, so hopefully he can get over 3 or 4 wide, come around the corner, skip away. That's the way I'd like to see it anyway, Ken.
I understand. Anything catch your eye, Shane?
I think it's very, very open. Anything can win the race. Trader Vic with the lightweight's got a great chance.
He looked well. Did he look good?
Yeah, and he'll be well ridden from barrier. I think he comes into 8 now. And Regal Centre run a very good race in the shorts behind Hot as Hell about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Trader Vic's probably one of those horses can just sit off the speed and come in at the right time.
Yeah, he'll be running about, I'd say 7th or 8th, and he should be about 1 off the fence.
One of those horses there's been quite a few raps on too from the Hawks camp and the Ingham camp, so they'd want him to be putting his hand up today too, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's Poetic King, that old marvel. I keep thinking he's over the hill and he comes out and wins another race. I'm never going to discard him again.
I would forget Flavour's last 2 runs. He ran off the Sydney way of going, so this way should suit him. And his runs before that weren't bad. And I thought his run the other day was very, very good, even though he ran 10th out of 11th. He didn't finish that far behind them, considering he ran off.
If you're trying to distinguish the 2 stablemates, Flavour races in the all cerise, and Trader Vic carries the black with the cerise cap. Right, there's Poetic King taking his place, and that's Trader Vic following him forward there, number 15 in the black with the cerise cap. Righto, looks as though they're just about all in, ready for the 1,100 metre Schillaci sprint. Here's John Russell.
Race over 1,100 metres. Fine, good. They're off to a good start. And Poetic King the first to jump out from Notoire, beginning well. Paint was away brilliantly in the centre, and getting out fast also Regal Centre. Royal Discard, Armadale just in behind them. Spy King is further back. Checkmore going up along the inside, and they were followed by Katona a length further back to Regal Centre, followed by Lord Luskin, who's got well back in the field. So is Trader Vic at that point, and a length and a half back in behind them. Then moving forward, Elegant Lass over on the inside, being followed well back by another Excuse. A long way of its ground is Flavour, and Touch of Forces last of all in a strung out field. Notoire is the leader. About a length in advance of Paint coming up up to the home turn. 2 lengths further back is Armadale, Katona, hard-ridden Toledo. Checkmore on the inside. Regal Centre making ground, followed by Trader Vic at the head of the others. Lord Luskin well back with Spy King and Poetic King as they straighten over. It's Paint moving up on the outside to tackle Retoir at the 300. About a length and a half further back, Toledo coming home strongly, followed by Katona. Back behind them down the outside, Regal Centre. Poetic King is also coming home well, right down the outside. Toledo hit the front. Poetic King storming down the outside. Flavour getting up along the inside. Toledo is the leader. Flavour is flying along the inside. Toledo just in front and wins. Toledo from Flavour. Poetic King third, followed by Elegant Lass. Back behind them, Trader Vic, and behind them is Painter, followed by Royal Discard, then Regal Centre. Another excuse, Touch of Force, Lord Luskin, Never a Chance, followed by Notoire and Checkmore. And further back is Katona. Spy King is second last, and Armadale has run last.
Well, a big race win to the Russell Cameron stable from Adelaide with Toledo. Toledo stamping his class on the race, just beating Flavour and Poetic King. And number 16, Toledo, has paid $17.80 and $5.90 the place. Number 4, Flavour was second, paid $10.40. And number 1, Poetic King third, has paid $3.50. Right, let's watch this replay. They came into the straight, and there was horses everywhere. There's Toledo in the white blaze, red and green colours, going up on the outside of Paint in the lime colours. And Notoire had enough second from the inside, and that's Flavour back on the rails in the cerise colours. Toledo strides to the lead. Paint has had enough, but Flavour hasn't, and Flavour comes after him, and there was probably only a half head at the line, but the numbers are official. 16 Toledo first, 4 Flavour second, and that old marvel number 1 Poetic King in third place. Now, the second replay, we'll try and stop frame them and point out the horses to you. Okay, if we stop there, okay. We roll again, Paint goes to Notoire. You'll see Flavour cutting back across horses, going to the rail. He gets up to run second, but he just can't catch the horse who gets the break on the field, and that, of course, is Toledo. Toledo gets the prize, Flavour second, and Poetic King, Damien Oliver just riding him hands and heels. He comes home and runs third. Officially fourth was number 15, which was Trader Vic, and officially fifth was number 14, Elegant Lass. Shane, that's a great picture there, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. And you'll see Flavour get up on the inside very shortly in the pink colours. But what a run from Poetic King. He was wide the whole way, and it just didn't suit him. And he takes his earnings after today to $999,000. I think he's got about $800 to go to get the million. But Toledo's first up today. He's a very, very good miler to mile and a quarter horse. He ran against the best 3-year-olds last year, and being fresh up, these horses sprint well.
They do, and a good trainer, Simon O'Donnell, Russell Cameron, isn't he?
Certainly is. When he comes over here to Melbourne, he brings a good team of horses with him. He's never far out of the money, and that's a classic example today. He's bought a horse whose probably favourite distance is the 7 or 8 furlongs, and suddenly he's brought him here today, fresh as a daisy, and bang, gets the chocolates.
Got him ready as a sprinter this time. Simon Marshall, you're with the winning horse and rider.
Thanks, Kenny. Dwayne Dunn, very happy young man here. Dwayne, tell us how you won it.
Yeah, I got off the fence early and got a lovely run through. Probably got to the front a bit sooner. I was probably a little bit confident on him, but he held on. He could have won a lot easier if I'd have given him a decent hit.
Do you think you had a great chance prior to the race, Dwayne?
Going into the chance, we thought we had a nice lightweight hope in the race, but barrier 1 was our worry, and we could overcome that early, and we got a beautiful run up.
It's nice to come over here from Adelaide, and just quietly, you won a race on Caulfield Cup Day.
Yeah, take some of this Victorian money back with us.
Congratulations, Dwayne, and go and enjoy.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, one of Adelaide's leading jockeys, Dwayne Dunn, a boy born on Kangaroo Island.
Any danger of us getting a look in here, us Victorians, during the day at some stage? Is there any chance?
Behave yourself. You've got Lee Freeman with 4 runners in the Caulfield Cup coming up next, if you don't mind.
Flavour in that race, Ken, his last 2 starts in Sydney, as I stated before, he'd run off. There's a classic example of some horses who go one way, like in Sydney, they run off. In Melbourne, they go as straight as anything. And you saw what he did today. He ran very, very well. Just goes to show he can run in Melbourne and not in Sydney.
They might keep him here now, Shane.
I'd say they would, because Johnny Hawkes has a stable down here.
Okay, as Dwayne Dunn unsettles Toledo, let's go for a break from Caulfield Cup Day.